Yeah, might be better. When I prospect, I move around a lot, so.
Right.
All right. Ready to go? All right. So first, everybody, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to come here and share some information with you. I'm also aware you guys could be doing something else, maybe, sharing time with loved ones or prospecting or, something in your day. So to share some time with me, I appreciate it. Also aware that I'm doing the same. I could be spending my time with loved ones or prospecting. So the goal of this is to have a good interactive back and forth, but to also give you a little bit of an idea of where I was, to where I am, to where I'm going, because I'm aware that there are probably some people that are here that would like to be in a different position, maybe financially, maybe emotionally, mentally, physically. And everything I'm going to go over with you today is going to be something that you can incorporate into every facet of your life. So thank you for that. So what I'm going to do is go over just a little bit of my story, share with you, for some of you who don't know, and really the only one here that I've known a little bit longer story from previous company. My journey to where I'm at now really became apparent once I learned how to basically be scripted. So what I mean by that is knowing what to say in any situation. So I'd say 10, 11 years ago, I was 36 and broke, and I had to move into my parents' basement. So visualize, you're living in Hoboken. I was bartending in the city, and I was doing some kind of acting and things of that nature. And like the floor just kind of fell out, and wasn't able to keep up with bills to the point where I made some really bad decisions financially, to where I had to move back with my parents. So visualize like your buddy coming with a flatbed and all of your crap out on it, and it just drives back to where you grew up. And so a very cute time for me to be very humble, very emasculating, I will say that. And so I'm sitting in my parents' basement. I'm trying to figure out like, how do I earn money? What do I need to do to earn money consistently and over the life of me being here? And I had the good fortune of being in, I'm going to write this word down, proximity. And this is a very important word. Okay, part of my left-handed terrible chicken scratch. Proximity. I had the good fortune of being in proximity with a coach and a mentor who basically saw something in me and said, I want to like train and coach you because, when I say broke, like this is your standard, this is zero. Okay. I was minus $53,000 in debt. So I owed that in credit cards at 36, 37. So I'm trying to get to zero. That was my goal. How long does it take me to get to zero? Okay. So just like visualize that. You're driving your buddy's car where you throw your mattress and your crap in the back. You pull up to your parents' house, and this is weighing on your mind. Now, thankfully, I didn't have a family. I didn't have like a wife and kids and stuff. It was really just me. So it might have been a little easier for me to crawl out of that than somebody who might have a family. So the next move was, how do I earn money? How do I consistently earn money? And again, I had the good fortune of being in proximity with a mentor and a coach who basically said, we met for about 5 or 10 minutes on a chance meeting from me having lunch with another agent that I knew well. And he basically said, you know what, I want to work with you, I want to coach you. And at that time, he wasn't taking any new clients, and I know this for a fact because I was actually there when he said it, to somebody who's doing 4 or 5 times my production, said to them, I'm not taking anybody and you can call me back in 6 months. But again, saw something in me and took me on. And that was where we first came from 53 to 0. And that took about 3 years, maybe 3.5 years. And then the climb has just been pretty standard. And to the point where everything changed after that. So I'm gonna share with you some ideas and some mental maps that, if any of you were in this scenario, because it's very, like, I was going through depression, I was going through, like, is this all life is? Like, there's gotta be something better than being in debt, this much money, not knowing how to get out of it, and you're living in your parents' dank, desolate basement with, nowhere to go and no way to, in your head, earn money. So I want to share with you some of the things that I learned over time that helped me get out of that. So now that I have a skill that if I go anywhere in the world, I can earn money. Doesn't matter where. I can go to Florida, I can go to Costa Rica, Europe, Asia, and I have a skill in my head that I can list property wherever you are. And I want to share those with you today. So if you guys want to take out some notes, the first thing that I found to be really important is that the money is not in the service, because we all don't earn the same amount of money. The money is in the selling of the service. All right. So that was the first thing, and with that, that is why practice is so important. Being scripted is so important. Knowing what to say is so important. Okay? On these things that you see in front of you, it says, if you want to get paid like a professional, you should practice like one. Okay? The second thing is all the leverage is on the listing side. All of it. And you can substitute leverage for advantage. All of it is on the listing side. When you have listings, you are the employer. You're working with buyers, you are the employee. Okay, so look at it that way. All right, and the third thing is look, amateurs practice till they get it right. Okay. Professionals practice till they can't get it wrong. I'll say that again. Amateurs practice until they get it right. But professionals practice till they can't get it wrong.
Share that image. One more time.
Amateurs practice until they get it right. Professionals practice until they can't get it wrong. So, remember, look, we're walking into somebody's house, asking them for like $15,000, $20,000, $25,000. Like, you better know what to say when you walk in there. You're asking them for this money. When you go to list with them, know what to say. Skills. That's all it is. It's just skill up. So, with that, so I basically just went headfirst into script practice, role playing, and wanting to know what to say. So I do that. I role play 3 times a day. I do it at 7:10. Myself and a couple other people. We do objections at 7:10. 7:30, I do the role play, which you see on there. And then at 11:30, if you join that, you can be part of what's called the listing presentation mastermind. And then we go over listing presentation, which you'll see me do here in a little bit. And I wrote out that listing presentation every day for like 60 days. I just wrote the whole thing. It's like 9 pages, but I wrote it out every day. And now it's just in here. And when they say something to me, and we'll go into objections and things, but really an objection is the only thing an objection is a question the seller doesn't have answered. That's all it is. They're not objecting to you. You're walking into their house because they want to list their property. But they may have questions that they don't have answered. I'm not going to list for 6 months. That's just a question. So I'm going to imagine, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, that you just don't want to get locked into another 6-month agreement with a mediocre agent who isn't producing like they did last time. Yes. Okay. Then you handle it. It's only just a question that they have. So those kinds of things are like, we'll go over we can go over those, but they're in the 11:30 listing presentation. We go over those every day. So every day, 3 times a day, we're doing that. Do you think that the more times you role play and practice, the better you're gonna know what to say when somebody says something to you? Of course you will. Of course you will. Because it's practice. So so these are some things now that I'm gonna give you some statistics that are gonna be important, because let's all agree, guys. Can we all agree the market's changing?
Yes.
And we agree it's changing for real estate agents better or worse? Or does it matter if you have skills?
Yes, it matters.
Exactly, it doesn't matter, because what'll happen is, look, guys, as the market changes and it's harder and harder to list property, 40% of the agents that you see are gonna either be in another job or on somebody else's team, because they don't know how to list property themselves. So.
Say it again.
At least 4 out of 10 agents that are here right now that are active with their license are either going to be in another job or on someone else's team. Because the market is changing. In the last 45 days, you want to write this down because you can say this to your sellers, it's true. In the last 45 days, rates have risen more than they have in the last 30 years. That is factual. So the question I have is, do you think that's going to stop? Or do you think the Fed is going to keep raising rates? They can't have printed as much money as they printed through all this COVID and not have inflation, which you're seeing now. I think the real numbers, well, let's say this, 8% is what they're telling you it is right now. But did you know that 8% doesn't include housing? Doesn't include housing. So that real, and employment doesn't include employment either. So that 8% really is 14 to 16%. That's your inflation rate right now. But they're not gonna tell you that, because everybody be jumping off bridges if that was the case. So that's your true inflation rate. So knowing that, do you think the Fed's gonna stop raising rates? No. So what happens do we know when rates rise? And why do prices go down? Less buyers. So your buying power decreases. So that $500,000 house that buyer could afford is now $450 or $430. This part is not good, but it's okay. So that's less. So those properties you're going to be listing in the $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 range, $1 million range, days on market's going to go where? Exactly. Do you think knowing how to take a price reduction is going to be really important in the next 12 to 18 months? I would say so too. The days of us just getting a listing, throwing it on and having like 15, 16 offers, it's changing. And that's what skills will circumvent all of this. Just like price circumvents location and condition, skills will circumvent all of this, all of it. Because I like when markets go down, because what does that do? It weeds out all the mediocre agents that don't know what they're doing. Exactly, Andrea's shaking her head, but she knows it's true too. It's true. So, again, these are just stats you can use with your sellers, because remember, guys, like when times get tough, only the skilled will get paid. Only the skilled get paid. And skills are the number one thing. I'm gonna write that here. Skills is so important. Skill up. Skill, you said it, man. Skill up. Now, the question is how do you get skills? Well, I run a role play group. So this, the gentleman that I had the good fortune of running into, we've been working together for probably 5 years now. Just basically said, I want you running a role play group. So I run the 3 that are here. And if any of you at the end of this, when we do a Q&A, are interested, want to jump in, I have the information over there. We can talk about that. So, look, I know what it's like when you're down in the dumps. You don't know where your next, like where lunch is gonna come from, like, you know, God bless me that I had two parents that were still alive, that I could go to their house. Some people don't have that. They don't have anything but themselves. And when you, I raised to 53, but when you're in debt like that, that is like having 200 pounds on your shoulders that you can't get rid of, because you don't know where your money is coming from. So I know what that feels like. Like this is why the role play group is so important. Like you're literally one decision away from knowing what to say. You're one decision away from knowing what to do. You're one decision away from having complete financial freedom. And you're one decision away from having the skills that you need to move anywhere you want in the world and be able to, all of this stuff means nothing because you have the skill to overcome that. So that's what the mastermind is for. That's what we do. And, you know, look, you guys see great athletes all the time. Like, we get rewarded in public for what we spend countless hours doing in private. Nobody sees what anybody does in private. All they see is what we do. You see here, like I'm being asked. Do you think I would ever be asked to come stand up here and talk to you guys? That I'm living in my parents' basement, I'm 53 grand in debt, and not know where? Like, no, of course not.
Maybe.
No, you guys are so you guys are so good with just bringing everybody in and stuff. It's probably true. You guys probably would. But yeah, I mean. Again, knowing that, like, this is again what skills do. So I keep pushing that word skills and proximity. Get in proximity with people that are at or exceeding where you want to go. Proximity. Get in proximity. People that are at or exceeding where you want to go. You always want to be the one in the room that knows the least. Always. Because you know you're going to learn from these people. And that's always been my attitude. Like I like not knowing everything because I can ask questions and then learn. And then when you learn, your growth pattern will usually go like this. It's usually on a plateau, but it goes in little spurts. These little spurts of growth, whether it's financial or mental or emotional. Learn to live on that plateau right here. These are plateaus. Most of our lives are on plateaus. And then you get that little spurt of growth. So with that, is there any questions before I get into like the presentation with Andrea? You guys have anything you want to ask me, please feel free.
Daniel, you said you have 3 role plays, right? 7, 9?
I do the one at 7:10, but that's not, I mean, if you guys get really where you're finding you want to role play more, I'll help you get other people to do that. That is a 7:10 with myself and 2 other people, and we just do objections, listing of presentation objections.
But then you say 9 and 11?
7:30
Oh, 7.
and then 11:30. Yeah, I know, 7:30. I get up very early. But so does everybody else that's doing the role play.
Yeah.
They're serious. So yeah, 7:10, 7:30, 11:30. So for you guys, figure 7:30 and then 11:30 if you want to do. That's a listing presentation. This one is just like role play. Expireds for sell-by-owners, pre-qual, which is the most important thing.
Are you gonna go over pre-qual today or not?
I could do it if we have time. I could do it.
When do you actually do the prospecting?
Where?
When?
8:15, I'll start.
For how many hours a day?
Now, so I can give you a little bit of background. So I'm now living down in South Jersey because my mother had knee replacement surgery. So instead of being in Union City, where I have nothing to worry about, I'm now schlepping my mother to rehab and making sure she's okay, cooking breakfast, lunch, dinner, things of that nature. So.
But you're not in the basement.
But I'm on the basement.
That's a good thing about it.
Love it. Pay attention. So I'm helping her out. So my prospecting. What's that?
What you get, you have to pay out.
Exactly. So my prospecting times have been a little sporadic. I'll at least do an hour to an hour and a half. I used to do 2 to 3. Because now I'm traveling 2 hours back and 2 hours up, 2 hours down, when I have appointments up here. So, but usually at least a minimum of an hour. But if I can get it 2 to 3 in, I can work the day with her, then I can do that. But yeah, at least 2, you gotta get at least 2 hours a day on the phone. Whether it's expireds, whether it's calling your past clients in center of influence. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, just wanted to say hi, I was in your area the other day. Just thought of you guys, wanted to see how things are going. Are you familiar with what's going on in your market right now? No, awesome, there's a conversation about that. Have it with your past clients, things like that. So it doesn't matter, you don't have to only call expires for sale by owners, or, just listen to just solds. You can call anybody that you know that might be interested in selling or buying real estate in the future. That's who I would call. That is prospecting. Yeah.
Besides writing the scripts for 60 days,
Mhm.
how long did it take you to like really master it?
Like probably 60 to 90 days, yeah. I was chanting them too, so just coming up here, I did it. I chanted it myself, and then my 11:30 role play partner was on the phone with me while I was driving up, and we did it with each other. So, like, in your free time, man, like, I guess I'd say, what is it worth to you to have this in your pocket all the time? What is it worth for you to have dollars in your pocket all the time? And then what are your goals? Like, my goals are written in my wallet, like they're here. I mean, I'll show them to you. This is goals. This is goals. They're in my wallet. I keep them with me. And I look at them probably 3-4 times a week. When I have part of my life, when I have a shitty day, I pull these out and look at them. Like, no, it's only, the good thing is tomorrow's another day. Because I focus on, here's what I focus on. Let's erase this. We'll get into this. I promise you I will do a presentation. But these are important things here. Because it's the foundation of you guys as agents. Because it's easy to get out of your day. Look, nobody's holding you accountable to anything. You're your own boss. So there's no boss being like, all right, you gotta be in here at 9 o'clock and you gotta leave at 5. No, man. Your boss is right here. It's in your head. So there's income producing. Versus income servicing. And some of you might have seen this before, some of you might not. Haven't? You always want to focus on this, income producing. If what you are doing in the day is not income producing, it's not going to be beneficial for you. What is income producing? PLAN. Prospect. Okay, every day. The day not spent prospecting is the day you're not in business. Simple. Say it louder. Lead follow-up. You get those prospects. If you don't get the appointment that day, which you're most likely not, it's 80%, I think it's 70 to 80% of your leads you get, the people you get are off of lead follow-up. So you lead follow-up, set up a time for that. Maybe it's 10:30 to 11:30, maybe it's 11 to 12. So you know what the day is? Appointments. Go on appointments. Okay, and
Negotiating.
you guys, I love it. Negotiate deals. All right, that is all income producing activities. Role playing.
Role playing.
Oh, see? Who said that? Yeah, like we're like a mental telepathy here. Role playing. Writing out scripts. That is income producing. Do we know what income servicing is?
Admin work.
Say it again, Pam.
Admin work.
Admin.
Facebook.
I'm gonna put that under the no servicing group. What else? Well, what else would be income?
Not shopping?
What's that?
I said not shopping, right?
I bet for a lot of this group, that's a really hard thing not to do. Oh, that's funny, shopping. Come on, what else? You think?
I do want to say, I got a contact at Gucci who wanted to buy a house. I just want to put it out there, so.
Networking, I love it. I was sitting in a bar, I've been 14 in Hoboken and got one of my biggest clients there. Just by being out. So yes, networking is definitely a beneficial thing. Income servicing, going to inspections. Do we think that's income producing or income servicing? Servicing, exactly. Putting up lock boxes. What is that?
Service.
Yup. Can you pay somebody to do this?
Yes.
Do it. Can you pay somebody to go to an inspection?
Yes.
Do it.
Appraisals.
What else?
Appraisals.
Appraisals, perfect. Yeah, you said it. Say it louder, man.
Closings.
Closings. Do you have to be at a closing?
No.
No. Why are you going? They'll send your check. Don't worry. You're gonna get paid.
I like to pick up my check.
Don't worry. When you get to a level where you're not reliant on like this, you gotta go and like, you should go, and I get it, the buyers want you there and you're gonna give them a gift and you're gonna get a check. I know, I was there. You'll get to a level where that's not important because you're doing this so effectively, you look at that as a waste of your time. Because this, once you master this, I wanna like get you to look at this tangibly. When you master this, prospecting, lead follow-up, going on appointments, negotiating deals, income producing. When you master that, anything else that you're doing that isn't that in your day, you're like, this is a waste of time. So what you got, and what I would suggest you do, you gotta figure this out based on your income. What are you worth per hour? What is your hourly rate? When you figure out your hourly rate and it's these things that you're doing here are less than your hourly rate, you pay somebody to go do that.
What is yours?
Question. Right now, it's like, look at it. 600, something like that. Something like that. Yeah. I haven't done it in a while. It's actually a good question. I should really do it again. I do it because I'm not good with numbers. I'm terrible with numbers, but I'm great in front of people. So numbers are not. I have a system in my computer that my admin knows like everything that I have pending, everything I have active, and I don't even know, to be honest with you. I don't know. I should know that, but I don't. Because I just don't like numbers. So these are all income servicing things. If you can pay somebody to do them, pay somebody to do them, because it's not worth your time. Once you master this, you're not going to want to do that anymore. So do you have any questions regarding this income servicing versus income producing?
Safe to say that in order to afford somebody to help you do that, you have to master this first. So not like a new agent. I'm gonna get an admin.
Look, you guys can pay. I was just told Billy bought some kind of admin service.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know who they were, but I was just told that a lot of KW agents use them. You can even go to Upwork. I'm imagining, they can't be, if a lot of agents are using them, VAs are great.
I had to ask.
So Billy just recently purchased, I think, the North Jersey cyberbacker division. So I'm sure most of you are familiar with our wonderful virtual call assistant, Jay. She's part of the cyberbacker program, and a number of our agents have their own cyberbackers that handle the admin work and all of that stuff. So cyberbackers are absolutely something that's available if you're not in a financial position to have a full-time or part-time admin. We do have our own transaction coordinator services that you can utilize as well. So those are a la carte per transaction. A little bit less of a cost, but just like Daniel said, you're letting someone else handle that work. So you have more time to prospect, to get those appointments, negotiating, to get your plan in place.
Stop
Yep.
micromanaging it.
Yes.
That's a lot of business problem.
It's a great, I'm sorry, what's your name?
Esteban.
Esteban, I haven't met you yet, but good to meet you. You brought up a great point. So Esteban says, so you don't micromanage everything. I'm gonna imagine I'm not the only one in this room who has the thought of, if I don't do it, it ain't gonna get done right. Is that right?
Most of us.
All right. It's faulty thinking, and I was shown that it's faulty thinking. I'm still kind of I'm like 95.5. I still think there's that 5% in me that's like, man, if I don't fucking do that, it ain't gonna get done right. So, it's still there, not 100%. But you made a good point. We all are like that. We all like to control the deal, control what we got going on. Delegating authority is very, very important, and it will bring you money. It will bring you money. The best decision I ever made was hiring my assistant. The best decision. And at the time, I thought it was the worst decision because in my head, I was like, how am I gonna afford her? What if I have like a bad month? And just
Good.
and all of these thoughts go into my head, and it's the same thing. Once you do it, it's gonna force you to be successful. It's gonna force you to be accountable to doing these things every day. Every day.
Because you have the bills, you
Yep.
pay her.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now, would you recommend to get to a certain level to hire somebody or just
I mean,
maybe
yes.
20 transactions or?
I don't know that now here's a good point too. So let's get into that. So you said 20 transactions. I don't look at my production in terms of units. I look at my business in terms of income. Do you think I care if I make one deal for 250 grand or 35 of them? I don't care. As long as my income is raising 25% every year, your business will double every 4. You wanna write that down? 25% a year that your income goes up, every 4 years, your business doubles. That is a realistic, we have to have an accurate assessment of reality here. I'm not gonna go wrong, but I on the list like 500 homes, this is not gonna happen. But an accurate assessment of reality is if you're right now you're doing 10 deals a year, say you're doing 15 deals a year. 25% of that is like 3, I think. Is it 3? God, I'm so bad with numbers. Is it 3? Is that 3? 25% is 3 if you're doing 15. So 3 times 5.
No,
It's
So
hard
it's
to
two-
tell.
it's like 3.5.
3.75.
Oh, make it simple.
12.
Yeah, easy math, 12.
12. Well, yeah,
Well,
right,
this
easy.
is
There you go.
great.
Read it.
Ernest, there is no easy math in here. There is none.
I'm sorry, I said all the time, people go, you know, I'm like, yes it is, I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah. So that's 3 extra deals the next year. And then the next year, you do another 3 deals. Now you're growing. Every 4 years, you're doubling. That's realistic. And I would suggest strongly, write down your goals and keep them with you. And raise your hand in here if you guys, any of you have dream boards. Dream boards.
Like a vision board?
Vision board, dream board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of, so that's less than half the room. Guys, you gotta like, it's gotta be in your head first before, it's not when I see it, I'll believe it. That is not how life works. When you believe it, then you will see it. But this isn't like The Secret where you just like imagine stuff and then all of a sudden it magically comes into your house. That's like, that book and that movie have like polluted this society because life does not work that way. You will have to work for what you want. But if you believe it first, then it'll come. With smart work, doesn't necessarily have to be hard work, smart work. And this is smart work. Because there's people that work very hard that don't make a lot of money, right? Yeah. Exactly. And that goes into like neutral thinking, which is a whole other ball that we'll go into. Maybe later we'll talk about that. Neutral thinking versus positive and negative thinking. So that is what I will say with that. Do you guys have any questions before, what time is it? How are we doing on time?
140.
1:40? How long are you guys, how long are you guys here for?
2 hours.
2? Oh, so we got plenty of time. All right. This is great. We'll do one more thing before we get into the presentation. I want to get into this, it's very important because I know that there are a lot of people that think in terms of, I have to think positively all the time. All the time. All the time. And it's not that that's a bad thing, but I'm going to show you something better than positive thinking. Neutral thinking. Okay? Neutral thinking. Neutral thinking is when something happens, like visualize like you walk, so all right, this is perfect. I walked out of my house today to a flat tire. Now, the car that I have does not come with spares. So you either have to get it towed or the place down in South Jersey, they actually were able to get it really quickly. And I got it on. But, so I walked out to a flat tire. The flat tire is the happening. The flat tire doesn't care at all about anything other than it's a flat tire. Okay? Doesn't matter. My response to that flat tire is going to be now what is going to be my state of mind, my mood, how I'm going to affect it. Do I look at it negatively, like, oh shit, this sucks, like life sucks, and I can't catch a break, or all right, how am I going to figure this out? Okay. That's neutral thinking. Positive thinking. Does positive thinking work all the time? No, because bad things happen to good people, right? Exactly. But does negative thinking work 100% of the time? 100% of the time. Always. With 100% certainty. Negative thinking works. So if you can shift your mind, like this fucking seller didn't give me this listing and son of a, like, she doesn't care. The her not giving you the listing is the happening. It just happened. How you respond to that is going to be your state of mind. And the neutral thinking part of that is it happened, now what? So I'm gonna write now what? Okay? That buyer didn't work with you. They ended up buying with somebody else. Those MFers. I worked with them for 2 years and now all of a sudden they went and they bought with somebody else. Do you think they care about you and what you're thinking? No, they don't care. So that you could say, wow, it's negative, that's negative. No, it's not negative, it's neutral. You look at this, you look at what happened neutrally, and then, exactly, and then you form your opinion. How do I want to go from here? Where do I want to go to a negative place, which you can do. And listen, I go there sometimes.
Sometimes.
I sit and curse in my car sometimes, but I do it for 5 minutes. I limit that to 5 minutes. And there's some words that I've come up with that are Danisms that I never thought I would come up with. But I'm negative for 5 minutes. Get all that shit out of your body, and then you move on. Now what? Then you go to the positive. What can I do? How can I make that? How can I learn? Last time we were here, I was talking, Billy was here, Billy and Danny. And I said, when I go on presentations, if I'm gonna lose, I want them to beat me. So if they do beat me, the next time I go against them, you better fucking believe that I'm gonna beat them. Why? Because now I wanna be better. Now what? Instead of, man, if I'm gonna go on these presentations, they beat me, and I'm never gonna beat them. Is that gonna work? No. So that's neutral thinking versus always thinking positive all the time, which is like all these, books and stuff. It doesn't work all the time. This does. Neutral thinking. What happened? And then your response to it. It's important. It's important. Questions before we get into the presentation? Good?
Good.
So.
I feel this is so important because at the end, your state of mind before an appointment determines about 80% of the result that you'll get during that appointment.
100%.
And then if you leave that appointment all pissed off and the likelihood of, you're not going to call that seller again, you're not going to provide them value because you're pissed off with them. The likelihood of you getting more business from that person is zero.
Zero. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you.
Yes.
Attorney.
Yes. I'll never burn bridges, man. God, I learned that. That's a hard lesson for me to learn, but boy, I learned it. Do not burn bridges, man. You just don't know where something will come from. You have no idea.
I had a seller sign with another agent and I had already had listed it.
Mhm.
He signed, I could have gotten pissed off and we're like, what the hell? He ended up coming back and I sold his house.
Then, you
Yeah,
just, yeah,
very,
you
very
just, you
good.
don't know. You don't know. We're in a service-oriented business. You are customer service reps. Your job is to get as many clients as you can, but genuinely. And I mean that in the way of like, so when you'll hear my presentation, I say like, guys, like whatever you decide to do, I'm going to support you 100%. I mean that. If you want to list it all the way up here, which is an insane number, we know it ain't gonna get, hey, we're gonna do it. But at the end of 2 or 3 weeks, and we don't get the traction and the showings that we had hoped, are you open to having a conversation about bringing in more on with what's selling? Usually they'll say yes. Okay. Now, if they listed at, 200-300 grand above where you think that it's gonna sell, I won't take it. And you'll get that on pre-qual. You won't be in front of them in a listing presentation, getting them telling them that. You've already pre-qualified them. Because one of the questions is I'm imagining you've done a little bit of homework, looked at Zillow, had an idea. Tell me what you're thinking you would like to list the property realistically. And they will tell you. Or, well, that's why I have you here. I'd like to hear what you say. Perfect. Absolutely, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at together as a team, properties that are on the market right now and not selling, and properties that have sold in the last 2 to 3 months. What we're gonna do is look at that information together as a team. What's gonna rise to the surface is not a pinpoint to the penny, but a nice realistic range regarding value and price. Does that sound fair? Yes, perfect. Move on to the next question. That's in your pre-qual. So you're gonna know whether they're here or here in reality. And when you deal with people that have life events, you'll be most likely here in reality. Because you know what they got. They have to move. And in my presentation, when I assumptively closed with the question of, well, is there an option for you not to sell this home and still make the move? The answer is already no, because I've already asked that in pre-qual first. But I would again in the listing presentation, just to make sure that they say no, it's not. Because that's part of the one pricing strategy.
Yes,
Yes,
Leo. Yeah, Leo here. I have a question not related to what you were talking just now. When you open your wallet, you have like 3 papers, and those are your objectives. You don't have to tell me the number, but what are those like in terms of what? Is it like income and amount of properties, or is like personal objectives? Like, I'm really interested in that.
So like, you guys ever see Jerry Maguire?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my ambassador of Quan is Jim Rohn. Does everybody know who Jim Rohn is? Yeah. He's a speaker that actually taught Tony Robbins, but he was way before his time. He's long since left the earth, but you want to talk about somebody who's very educated and knows his stuff. Jim Rohn is one of those people. So these are some of Jim Rohn's lessons that I have incorporated into my life. So right here, it says life and business are like the changing seasons. You can't change the seasons, but you can change yourself. Make yourself wiser, make yourself stronger, make yourself better. Don't wish things were easier, wish you were better. So the 4 major lessons in life are learn how to handle the winters. We'll all go through winters financially. So there's going to be times when you're not taking, 3, 4, 5 listings a month. You may take 1 or none. That might be your economic winter. But if you have that consistent income coming in, it's not going to matter. So those would be like economic winters. Learn how to take advantage of spring, because for the entirety of the world, what comes after winter? Spring. So you learn how to plant in the spring. So you can reap you protect your crops in the summer, so you can reap in the fall. So that's this one. And then this one is 1 year, 3 year, 5 year goals. So for 20, I'll just give you a few, I'm not gonna go over all of them, but I'll give you a few. To hire another transaction coordinator, keep my marketing director, which I have. 36 books read. And I'm on pace for, I think, like 30, I'm a little under on that one. And pay off my Tesla, like I want that completely paid off. 3-year goals are coaching and mentoring others to be the best versions of themselves. Being an appreciator, and being an appreciator is in all 3, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year.
What does that mean, being an appreciator?
Being an appreciator. So in any situation, there is a silver line. And I like to look at things in life like, if it's easy, I'm not growing. So even when it's hard, I want to appreciate the hard. I want to appreciate walking out of my house today, looking at a flat tire, like, shit, am I gonna get 2 hours away and get this tire fixed at the same time? There's no spare in the truck. How do I do that? Okay, I'll make it work. When you're buying a property and your lending fell through, your insurance is double what you thought it was, but you know that this building is a good building to buy, and you're trying to make all these things work with a seller that is wanting answers to questions that you don't have yet. I appreciate these moments. Because what does it do? What it makes me like rise. If it was easy, everybody would do what we do. Like shit, write that down. That's so important. If what we're doing is so easy, everybody would be doing it and doing it at a successful rate. But it's not. It's not easy what we do. It's not easy to get up every day at 4:30. It isn't easy to do that. We all have voices in our head that are like, no, just go sleep for another hour. Or no, you don't need to do that. You don't need to prospect today. We'll go shopping today.
I appreciate any situation.
Yes,
Yeah.
anything.
It's always a lesson.
Because it's not, yes, there is always a lesson, and it's just, lives are not easy, they're just not easy. And do the things that aren't easy so you can live the life that most people won't live because they're not doing the things that are hard. You're gonna live like most people won't live because they won't do the things that are hard. You're gonna live differently than them. You're gonna have a different income level than them, way different income level. But you're doing things that are hard.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, yeah, well, we can. So yeah, keep these on you. There's an energy that is on this paper. This paper has an energy. And it's sitting in my wallet next to me. So it's literally like right here. You don't think that energy on that paper's, next to me and through osmosis, like getting into me? Of course it is. Everything around it, everything is basically energy, isn't it?
So you carry a charger with you all the time.
That's it. I always carry a $100 bill on me too. I will always advise that. Keep wealth in your wallet. Look at that. Would you rather open your wallet and look at a $100 bill than open your wallet and look at a 1 or 5?
Or nothing.
Come on.
Yeah.
Seriously, or nothing. Good point. Keep that in your wallet. So every time I open this wallet, I'm looking at that. That is important. That's visual. Important. Yeah.
Cool.
Come on, other questions? You guys just want to hit right into the presentation?
That was good.
Yeah?
Really good.
Amazing.
Was this valuable?
Absolutely.
Awesome, awesome. Because look, again, and I'll say it again, you're like a decision away from changing everything about your income. So the people all around you that you love and care for are gonna have different lives too. Because you're now the catalyst for changing your whole family's dynamic. You have the power to do that. Like I'm the one in my family doing that. I out-earned my father in the 30 years that he's been a bank exam. I already out-earned him. You think they're not appreciative of that? Of course they are. Because and me personally, I'm very simple. Like what's true for me is I have a car and investments. That's it. Everything that I earn just goes right into investing. So that money, all right, one more thing. Wow, one more thing.
We have time.
We're gonna talk about money.
Why
We
we're
have
here.
another hour.
All right, money. Does everybody know the three qualities of money? Before I write them down? No? Okay, money.
Qualities?
Yes. We all know how to do this. 90-something% of the people on planet Earth know how to do this. Earn it. That is the one thing. That's number one. Okay? We all know how to earn it to some level. We live in the United States, so there's always jobs available.
Yeah.
Always. So you can earn it. The last two are what people fail miserably at. Okay? Which is why 95% of the business is done by 5% of the agents.
Not what you earn, it's what you keep.
All right, so that is number two. Say it again.
It's not what you earn, it's what you keep.
Okay. Number two is keeping it. Anyone have a guess to what number three is?
Invest. Invest.
Multiplying. We are horrible at multiplying your money. Why?
Spend it.
Say it again.
Spend it.
Why do we spend it? I'll tell you why.
Feels good. Feels good to buy new
That's
things.
Say it again.
It feels good to buy new
It
things.
feels good. We in this, it's true. We in this country put a premium on self-satisfaction. A premium.
Instant gratification.
Yes, instant gratification.
Amazon.
How many people you know spend $300-400 a month on cable, on television, but haven't read a book in 1 year, and haven't read one book a year?
Yes.
Yeah. There, write this down. Those who don't read are the same as those who can't read. Exactly. How many people watch hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of television a night, but don't pick up a book about money, but yet they want to make money? How is that even like possible? It's not. Not. You study and be a professional at whatever interests you. What interests you? Surfing. Money. Me is money. I love money. I love the options that money brings. I don't love money itself. I like the options that it brings me. Money brings you options. I have a funny joke. My buddy was talking about that. I said, listen, man, money and everything, but shit, it ranks right up there with oxygen. So that's important. So with this, we put a premium on our own happiness and feeling good and all that stuff. What if you took the money that you earned, 70% of it? So let's say most of us can't invest 70%. Say you just invested, shit, take 70 out of it. I mean, I can say. Say you did 30. For every dollar that you get, you take 30 cents of that dollar right off the top and you put it in an index fund, you put it in the bank, whatever. Something that's going to multiply the money and compound that interest. So you're not living and just have to rely on this one source of income, because that's your biggest asset. It's not real estate. It's your ability to earn money. Because there's going to be a time when you can't earn money anymore. Like my parents don't earn money anymore. They have pensions and Social Security and that stuff. Social Security ain't going to be around when we're old. It ain't. Because the Fed is broke. They are broke beyond broke. $16 trillion broke. And keep printing money. Because that's the answer to everything. Instead of having people just work. So imagine if you took just 30 cents of that, put it in some kind of an index fund. Now, the money that you earn is making money. And then that money will continue to make money. If you keep doing this in a specific amount of time, you'll be financially free. What you guys have to figure out is what your magic number is. And what that magic number means is the money you have going out versus the money you got coming in. So if it costs you $5,000 a month to live, $5K. That's, hang on, 12 times 5 is 60, right? All right.
You did say numbers aren't your strong suit.
Good, man. So your magic number is 60K. So if you can get passive income to equal $60,000, now you've broken even. So you're obviously not gonna be able to live on that because now you're just broken even. So maybe you need to make 100, your passive income needs to be 120K. Because you're gonna live on 60. That's not a lot around here. But you have to know what it costs you to live every month. And can you get that in passive multiplying sources of income? That is how you become financially free. Is that, I mean, I'm gonna imagine, is that a goal of everybody in here? To not have to work, but want to work. That's my goal. So what is your monthly nut? What does it cost you every month to live? Business, rent, insurance, car payment. Because there's 4 in this country. All right, there's 4 primary things that cost that we have to pay.
Taxes.
4. Well, not necessarily. You can skirt those if you so desire.
Insurance.
We'll say it again.
Insurance.
That's 1. Insurance. What would be another?
Rent?
Housing,
Living
yes,
expenses, yeah.
housing. Can't go without those 2, give me 2 more.
Food.
All right,
Yes.
food, it's related,
Transportation.
Oh. Transportation. Those are the 4 major things in this country that you have to pay for. Okay? If you can eliminate 1 or 2 of those, now your path to financial freedom goes like this. Because it's costing you less every month to live. So for me, I'm working on housing and transportation. I have a little bit left on that. I can technically pay it off now, but it's not financially, it's better for me to keep the payment.
How you can work on the house, like still you have to pay the taxes, right?
Mhm. How would you work on housing? Let's talk about that.
Freedom.
How would you eliminate your housing payment? Say it again,
Investment properties.
louder.
Investment properties.
Investment properties. Don't we work in the industry?
Yeah.
Don't we get like a beeline to great properties? Well, what do we need? If you don't have the cash to buy because it's expensive to live here, how would you qualify for a mortgage? What do you have to show them?
Income.
Say it again?
Income.
Income. So imagine having the skills to get the income to be able to buy the housing to eliminate your housing. Imagine that. Wow. We're in the industry. We're in it. We don't have to wait and give it to everybody else. We can get it first. Run numbers. Like I'm buying a building right now, and I ran numbers on my shit, like I can buy this. And I am. That's basically what happened. The seller said, yeah, we'll sell it to you. So it all comes down to income. All of this. And this is not my opinion. This is factual. You know, try living in the United States without insurance, with no house, no food, and no way to get anywhere. Good luck with that. That valuable?
Yeah, very.
Awesome. These things, and this is not pre-planned, this is just like coming off the fly of questions that you guys are asking, so. But yes, this is so important, just multiplying your income. Index funds, Vanguard, it's cheap. And Vanguard is a phenomenal place to house your money, for me anyway, for my investments. Really, it's inexpensive, you only need like $3 grand, you know, up an index fund. Now you have large cap, mid cap, small cap, all in one fund. And when one does shitty, the other two is still probably doing okay. Yeah. Check it out. That's how the path to financial freedom goes. It's not, it's like, if you earn over, what is it, shit, 150 grand in this country, you're in like the top 5% of income. It's not a lot. There's so many people that live like below that line, that think that that's okay. Well, that ain't okay for me. I don't know, I want more. So I work for it. And I know that you guys can too. This isn't just for me. It's just I wanted it. I was so grateful to have somebody take an interest in it. And I was in what? Proximity. That is such a powerful word, man. Proximity. When I go to Tony Robbins seminars, I listen to him speak. You don't think I'll pay $3,000 to sit next to, I don't know, who the hell was it? Tony Hawk and who else I knew the other day? It was some couple celebrities. The guy that does Dancing with the Stars, the blonde haired guy, not Dancing, Dancing with the Stars. He's the dancer. He was there. That was Derek something.
Yeah.
Him. He was there. I'm sitting like 2 seats away from him. It's proximity.
Did you get a selfie?
I'll tell you why I don't like selfies. It's a good question. I don't like selfies because we have a house in South Jersey and there's celebrities that go there too. And they eat at a certain place. Like, it stops time. I would just basically look at, like, if we made eye contact, I would just be like, thank you. Like, thank you, I appreciate it. That's it. And usually they'll walk over to you and be like, what are you thanking me for? Man, just for like being you, entertaining me for 20 years. That's what I would do. Because that's a real moment. That's not a real moment. You're just basically stopping time. But it's a good question. I have friends, we were at River Palm Terrace, up in the States, and like, what's his name? It was a rapper, was on Law and Order all the time.
Ice Cube?
Ice
Tea?
No, T, yeah.
Ice
Ice
Tea,
Tea.
excuse
He was in
me.
a table over from us. And my buddy's like, I'm gonna go there and ask him for a picture. I was like, fuck, leave the guy alone. Like, he's eating dinner. Like, this is not, like, you don't want that. You just looked at him and was like, hey man, thanks. I'm sure he'd appreciate that a lot more. So, anyway, proximity, it's so important. It's so important. There's mega millionaires near me. I didn't know who they were. And then when there are breaks, they just will come and like talk to you. They're like engaging. They want to help people get, into a better financial position. I'm talking to some dude who runs a recycling place out in California. It's worth like, I don't know, what was it, like $85 million. I don't know, something like that. He's just like talking to me. But it's the proximity. That's so important. So important. So I was just blessed to be in proximity with a coach who, again, poured all of his knowledge into me. And now, like, so for example, now that I run that, he networks with agents in Cali and Virginia, everywhere. These guys are making like $3, $4, $5 million in GCI, gross commission income. I want to be in proximity to them, and I am. I have access to them. So you can too, just by joining them, you can. So that is super, in any facet of life, not just this, anywhere. Proximity is so important, so important. You're just near. So, all right. Questions? Go ahead, that's right. What's
I
up?
was gonna say something. It's great how we came here to talk about listings and sales and yeah, well, that is great, but that's like short-term thinking. And Daniel, you started expanding the way we think, like future pacing us to, this is how our life could look like. These are the real possibilities that you have if you're truly committed to make this happen. This is awesome. Like in any other place, I would have seen just people talking about objection handling from the very beginning, 45 minutes, 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about, subconscious mind stuff and neutral thinking and like insurance, housing and food. Like real estate companies don't talk about that. All they talk about is fees and splits and whatever. This is freaking awesome. And I'm extremely thankful for you. This is phenomenal.
Thank you. Thank you. Look, This is an accurate assessment of reality on this planet. That is all this is. Just nobody really just explained it to you in like black and white. This is what it takes to get from here, because I was here. I was fucking below here. I was 53 grams below here. I wasn't just here. I wish I was here. I shouldn't say that. I actually don't. I'm glad I was there. Because that made a work ethic in me that's like, Kobe Bryant said this a lot. He was great. And I had an agent say this to me 2 years ago I was at a Mike Ferry event down in Florida. And Andrew probably, and Ernest know, but Patrick, so he was like, let's go have lunch. He pulls me aside, and he's like, how are you not like killing it down there? I was like, what do you mean? You're so like, you're good with people. Like, why are you not doing a lot of business? I don't know. I'm just not. And I look at it now, it's because I wasn't working. I wasn't working like him. And then I asked him, why are you sharing with me like he's giving me like everything that he does. Like what he says, how he says it. I'm like, why are you telling me that? I'm just gonna just like, honestly, because I know you're not gonna do it. I can share this with you. I can share all I want with you. You guys have to actually do it.
Right, what did you do with the information he gave you? Did you use it at any point?
Patrick, I mean, this was 6 years ago, so no, I really wasn't. Like, I was like, okay, I'll do well. And I would get like a listing here, a listing there. I stumbled upon friends or things like that. Nothing consistent. Nothing consistent. So it wasn't scripted.
What was your tipping point?
My what?
Your tipping point?
It's just broke all the time.
You got sick and tired of it.
Like at one point, I was bartending in the city. I was like doing like acting and some like print work and stuff. And it just was not, it's like there'd be a month I'd make like $1 grand, every month I'd make nothing. Then to the point where I borrowed from my parents $5,000 to pay rent. My rent was $1 grand in Hoboken at the time. And they paid 5 months of my rent. And at that point, I said, look, I can't take any more money from you guys because I'm not gonna be able to pay it back. You're throwing your money away. We gotta come up with a different solution. And they were like, we'll just, we can come back here and meet with you. It's like, oh.
Basement.
And I was like, I really don't wanna do it, man. That is as a male, that is such an ego hit. When you have to go back and live with it. Not at like 20. I'm fucking talking 36, 35. That is, you wanna talk about like someone just giving you a gut punch? That is a gut punch. So I know what it is like to be here. I know it. I know it all too well. So because of that, there will be very few people that will outwork me with prospecting and follow up on all that stuff. And if you do, God bless you. You'll beat me to the punch. You'll beat me. But there's enough of this money on this planet for everybody. And look, you guys all want something. Everybody wants something. We all do. I do. I had somebody show me how to get what I want. Now I'm going to show you guys how to get what you want. So you can show someone else how to get what they want. That's all this planet is. That's all we're all doing here. Relationships, happiness. We all want it. But
What is your motivation to keep going?
hey, it's a good question. I don't know. I enjoy it. I enjoy sharing information because I know that, honest to God, I know the despair that it feels like when you don't know how to make money and you're so in debt. I know what it feels like, man. It's depressing. It's very depressing. So if I can help like somebody take this information and just crystallize it and then make it work for them, like there's nothing greater for me. Because I don't have kids, I don't have a wife, I don't have any of that. So what will people say about me when I'm gone? Well, is he a great guy? Yeah, he's okay, but I'll tell you this. When he left the room, I always felt better when he left than before he got there. So that I guess will be my
But once
motivation.
you're gone, who cares what everybody says then?
It's true. There's civilizations that are gone, like that are humans that are just off the planet. Nobody even knows that they were even in existence. Look, guys, in 200 or 300 years, nobody's gonna even know you were even here. No one. There's whole like worlds of people that we don't even know existed because so much time has passed.
That's why they say when you live, you show your things and do some people.
Yeah.
That is much better than thinking what you people going to say after you die.
It's true. It's true. I said it last time, I'll say it again. If you get, look, if I'm worth, let's say $1 million, I'm worth 1 million. My doctor says to me, you're dying on May 6th. Do you not think that if someone said to me, Dan, if you give every fucking penny away, you can live to May 7th, I wouldn't do it? Of course I would. But one more day. Because none of this is guaranteed, none of it. Okay, I have it right here. You wanna write this down? Here. This is really powerful. My present situation is neither natural or inevitable. My present situation is neither natural or inevitable. Period. Or inevitable. Everything that has been given to me has been given to me by good fortune. And it can be taken away from me at any time.
Right?
Comma.
Given to,
Everything that's been given to me has been given to me by good fortune. And it can be taken away from me at any time, comma, without my permission, and without advance notice.
Yeah.
I live by that.
Can you repeat the ending?
Sure. Yeah, but, Amanda?
Yep.
Last part is, it can be taken away from me at any time without my permission and without advance notice. It's basically called negative visualization.
Are you in the day from me?
Say it again?
Are you religious?
No. I'm not religious.
It's interesting how people are so afraid of taking risks, thinking that they're gonna live forever,
Yeah.
like they're gonna keep everything, and it's funny. Interesting.
So is it like getting up every day a risk?
Yeah.
There's no guarantee you're gonna get up every day. Who guarantee you that? None. So this is basically like, it's a stoic way of life. It's stoicism in a way, but it's living as if, it's called, if you want to write down negative visualization, it's basically a stoic principle, which basically says you live every moment like it's your last, like tomorrow you're not gonna be here, like you're literally gonna die tonight. So what would you do in that day? What will you do with your life in that moment? Because nothing is guaranteed.
Well,
Nothing. So that's how I live. And I have that reminder in my phone all the time. All the time.
Thank God every day when you get up.
So it's true. When I prospect, I'm like, half the time I'm laughing. How many people tell me to go fuck off when I call them? Seriously, I just laugh. I'm like, all right, on to the next. Seriously, dude, stop laughing, calling me. You're like the 51st call me. Well, you haven't hung up yet, man. So I gotta be doing something right. What company are you with? Boom, gotcha. Now we have a conversation.
It's 8 in the morning.
That's it. I had a guy tell me at 8:45. You realize it's 8:45 in the morning? I was like, sir, you're still sleeping at 8:45? And he was like, well, I work overnights. I was like, shit. I'm like, okay, gotcha. You're overnights. I was like, so I'm imagining I'm probably really bothering you right now with the other 20 people who called you, right? He's like, you damn right you are. And I was like, I can hear you. And I listen, man, I was just looking at your home, such a beautiful home. If you don't mind me asking, what's your particular reason you're
Oh
looking
my
this up?
God.
And don't you know, he kept talking to me.
Did you get the listing?
I gotta leave. It was a
Okay.
meeting. No more leave. But he didn't hang up.
That's right.
He didn't hang up.
I think that is the perfect segue into our
Yeah.
listing
Wanna listen?
presentation.
All right. I could go on and on, guys. I mean, it's just like, you see that. I have like just so much. And look, listen, I will say this. This is all 100% of this, 100% of this is from two things. Coaching and reading. That is how I know what I know. Coaching and reading. Get with somebody who is believable, that is doing what you want to do. I would never in a million years coach somebody who isn't on the phones every freaking day making phone calls. That's not somebody I want telling me what to do. It's insane. I was like, think about Wall Street. The dudes that are managing $30-40 billion arrive at fucking Wall Street in a cab or in a train. And they're managing the guy's money just rolling up in a bank. How does that even make any sense? It's not, please, it's not. I'm not asking anybody who ain't a net worth millionaire how to manage my money. Because you don't know. So it's believability. So get with somebody if you're gonna do it. Get with somebody who's believable. And guys, man, just read. Read. It is important to read. Anything that you're interested in. It doesn't have to be real estate, doesn't have to be money, anything. Anything. All right, what are those two costs? No, this is good, right? Well, because you want,
No,
you
no,
want me to
I'll
move the
tilt it.
camera?
I can tilt it.
Okay.
Get
Come
close
on,
to
you're
the
beautiful,
camera,
what are you
okay.
talking about? All right. So these are the console here.
What do you take? You take active spending in Sol? or
I
you
take
take
3 active and I take 3 souls.
That's it.
That's it. Yes,
You guys mind
You said
switching
three,
back
three?
just a tiny bit?
3 and 3. Yeah, back or close. Well, they don't need to, like, I mean, I got you. They don't necessarily need to know.
You don't need to see me.
Yeah. So first and foremost, Andrew, I just want to begin our time together today by saying thank you for providing me the opportunity to share some information with you and help you with the sale of your home, okay? Awesome. Now, I always like to begin these conversations just asking a few quick questions, just to make sure that I have the information correct and really just so I can serve you best, okay? Great. First question I have is, I'm imagining you've already spoken to your husband. You guys are definitely gonna be putting a home on the market to sell. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Now, the second question I have is, I'm aware you'd like to position the property price-wise to sell. Now, what I mean by that is, we're not looking to give it away, obviously. But it'd be your preference not to have the home sit on the market 6, 7, 8 months, just testing it out. Is that right?
No, we don't want to test it out. We want to sell it.
Okay, great. Great. And the third question I have is, I did send you over some information, marketing material, how we're gonna be, selling the home, our website, past client reviews, things of that nature. Did you have a chance to take a look at that?
Yes, we did. It's
Okay.
not stuff, but we did.
Great. Now, the question I have for you is have you already decided you'd just like for me to handle the sale for you?
Well, we'd like to see what you have to say, what the price is gonna be, and then we'll make a decision.
Excellent. Yeah, because I'm aware this is a big decision for you, right?
Yes, it is.
Obviously, you want to make the best decision you can for yourself and your family.
Yes.
Yeah. And I do want to be clear, Andrea, that is my intention today. Provided that what I say makes sense and you feel really comfortable and confident with me, that I can help you maximize value here. I have all the appropriate paperwork with me. And again, if you're feeling good about it, we can just take care of this, get you one step closer to that condo in Miami that you're living in. Sound good?
Yeah, this is fine.
Awesome.
Again, if we come to an agreement, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Now, in terms of selecting an agent, in our previous conversation, you did let me know a couple things that the previous agent did that you really weren't very happy with. So share with me what you're gonna be looking for this time around in terms of selecting an agent that perhaps if you felt I fit the criteria, we can just get the process started today.
Well, what we didn't get from the previous agent was communication, to update us on anything, to tell us what's going on. So we would like communication, we would like for you to be available to us
Okay,
and tell us what we need to do in the house together. So
okay, got it. So if I'm hearing you correctly, really just an open line, a dialogue back and forth, maybe weekly, to give you guys an idea what's happening with the listing. And then what it's gonna take to get this beautiful home sold in the time that you want. Is that right?
correct.
Got it. Do you want to hear the great news?
Sure.
Awesome. I feel supremely confident, Andrea, that myself and my team, we fit that criteria. And again, end of our time together today, if you feel the same way, we can just take care of this and get those buyers walking through here in the next 24 to 48 hours. Sound good?
Sure, no problem.
Awesome. Because at the end of our time today, Andrea, there's going to be one of three potential outcomes that will occur. Okay? First one being, like most of the clients we have the pleasure of meeting with face to face. And it certainly seems like we're going down that direction. You're going to decide to list your home. And I am supremely confident and very happy for the opportunity to serve you, okay?
We'll see.
Now, the second potential outcome is there's an outside chance that you decide not to list your home. And the third potential outcome is that if I didn't feel like I could give you what you wanted in the time frame that you wanted, I may decide to humbly decline the opportunity to list your home. And the reason I would do that is I would much rather earn your business through honesty and really just being upfront with you, as opposed to overpromising you something and then not being able to deliver on that promise. And any one of those three, I'm completely comfortable with. Is that fair?
Fair enough.
Awesome. Now, just to reiterate, you're looking to sell the property here because you want to get down to Miami to that second condo that you have and make that your primary residence. Is that right?
Yes, hopefully by the end of the summer.
Perfect. Okay, now, when we list, we go to market, and a buyer comes to me and says, hey, Dan, we'd love to close in like, I don't know, 45, maybe 60 days. It sounds like that time frame would work well for you, right?
Yes, that'd be perfect.
Great. And we can note that here. And in terms of the home itself, were you thinking of making any changes or modifications before I start to bring those buyers through? Or you think you just want to sell the home as it is?
Just minor things, nothing major. If we have to do anything major, then we have to bring the price higher.
Right.
And
Okay, yeah, we did the walk, you took me around already. It looks in fantastic shape. I just want to say that you've done a great job of keeping the home up to date and show ready. So I think once we list it, you're gonna be, we can get the buyers running through here in no time, okay?
No problem.
Awesome. Now, in terms of time frame, you think we want to just get it on the market as soon as possible?
Yes, be there by the summer, by the end of the summer.
Okay, great. And you did mention to me previously that you have a small mortgage on the property. I think you mentioned about 260,000, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, with that said, are you thinking you want to maybe hold a note, maybe do some owner financing with a buyer, or would you rather just have all the cash at the closing table when we're there signing papers? All the cash at closing when we're there. Got it. Okay. Andrea, I'm crystal clear on your situation. And again, I feel supremely confident we can help you maximize value here. But more importantly, get you down to Miami in the time you want. So the good news is we only have to focus on a couple things during our time today. Can I share those with you?
Sure.
First one is your motivation to actually sell the property. And I mean, we've already spoken about it. It sounds like you're definitely going to do it. So the only other thing we need to go over today is the price that we set on your home, okay?
Right.
Great. Now I sent over to you some information. I'm going to give you these, but you already have them. I sent over some information to you via email that has some active listings that are in your area and also some sold listings that have closed in your area. Have you had a chance to take a look at those?
We did.
Perfect. Now, the purpose of that information, Andrea, is to give you an educated guess with regards to value. And that's comprised of two types of research. Okay, the first type of research is what we see on the market right now and not selling. So those are the active listings. We call those the unsold. Okay, and your neighbors have actually done us a big favor with those, and I'll go over those with you in a minute. Okay,
No problem.
great. Second part of that research is what we see that has closed in your area in the last 3 to 6 months. And what I mean by that is where a buyer, a seller, and a bank appraiser have actually agreed to for homes in your area, okay?
Okay.
And what we're gonna see from that information, Andrea, we're not gonna get a pinpoint to the penny. But what we will get is a nice realistic range regarding value and price for building. That make sense?
That makes sense.
Awesome. Now, with that, I see sellers utilize 2 types of strategies in an attempt to get the most money they can out of those buyers. The first type is where we start out high on the price and we leave room to negotiate. And I'm sure you're probably very familiar with that strategy, right?
That's what I was thinking of doing.
Exactly. Yeah. And the logic with that is obviously you can come down, but you can't go back up, right?
All right.
Can I share with you a couple considerations to think about with that strategy? Okay. Now, what we see with sellers who utilize that strategy, they're a lot of times not very motivated to move. And what I mean by that is they have that high number in their minds. And if they can get it, hey, it's great, and the home sells. But more likely than not, it doesn't. And what those sellers do is they just either pull the home off the market or they'll let the listing expire and maybe try again with another agent. So let me ask, is it an option for you not to sell this home, but still make that move down to Miami?
No, we need the money from this house to buy it, to move to Miami.
Got it. Okay. So we're gonna take the proceeds down.
Right.
Okay, that'll just lead us in right into that second strategy. That is just pricing it more in line with what is trading, maybe sometimes even a little bit below that. What that does is it creates value in the eyes of those buyers out there. And then what we see is more than one buyer interested in the property. We know that when multiple buyers are interested, the most amount they're willing to pay always comes to the surface. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Awesome. And any one of those strategies that you choose, I'm gonna be with you and support you 100%. Okay?
Okay.
Great. So let's take a look at a seller who utilized that first strategy, starting out high and then room to negotiate. And I'm pulling on an active listing here. Okay? So here we see 123 Main Street. Are you familiar with this property?
Yes, I pass by it every morning.
Good. So we see here, we got a 3-bed, 2-bath, 3,200 square feet, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, would you say in terms of size and shape, like the footprint, this would be pretty similar to yours, right? Yeah. Now, here's the 2 key numbers that we're going to look at. First, we see here, LP. That's list price. What do you see there?
$6.99.
$699. Now, more importantly is that number right below it, that DOM. That's days on market. What do you see there?
50.
50 days on market. So that's almost 2 months. And what we do know is in this particular market in your area, properties are going under contract in 7 to 14 days. Okay. What do you think the buying public is telling the seller about the price of their home?
You don't want to pay for it?
I agree with you 100%. It's too high. What do you think they're going to have to do next to make their home the obvious choice to sell?
They have to lower it.
I would agree. Lower the price. Yeah. Now, this is an example of somebody who used that first strategy of starting out high and leaving room to negotiate. Okay. If they keep beating me up on that, I'm going to go over another active, same exact way. Okay. Now, let's take a look at somebody who utilized that second strategy, which is just pricing it more in line with what is trading. Okay. Pulling out a sold comp. Now, we see here, this is 123 Banana Street. Are you familiar with that property?
Yes, I've seen it.
Okay, great. Now we see again, 3-bed, 2-bath, looks like about 3,200 square feet. So in terms of size and shape, like the footprint, pretty similar to yours, right? Yeah. Those 2 key numbers. Now, that SP, that's sale price. What do you see there?
$625.
$625. Now, the original list price was how much, LP?
$589.
$589. So that traded numbers.
36.
$36,000 over the list price. I know, this is horrible. $36,000 over, right? How long was it on the market before they took a contract?
11 days.
11 days. Would that time frame work for you and your family?
That will be perfect.
It's an important question to ask. So that would work for you and your family.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, do you see why these homes over here, at point to the actives, are not selling at these price points?
Yes.
Okay. So seeing this information, knowing what we now know, which one of these 2 strategies do you think is going to serve you and your family best?
Well, I was thinking about 650.
Mhm.
But I like that strategy better, of course. But
Right.
can we try 650?
Yeah, it's a great question. Now, what we do know to be true is 625 is the highest sale in your area. So anything that we list above that, we're really gonna be testing the market at, okay? So with that said, now remember, we have to also have a bank appraiser come to an agreement on that. And knowing that 625 is that high number, the bank appraiser is most likely gonna use this as their benchmark. Make sense? Okay, so if we do list at that 650 number, and we just aren't getting that traction, that number that we had hoped as far as showings and offers, are you open to having a discussion maybe in the next 2 to 3 weeks after we list to bring the property more in line with what is selling?
Well, since I hear that the market is selling over asking, I would feel maybe, yeah, let's try it at 649 and then, we can tell in 2 weeks.
Awesome, I think it's a great strategy. Any other questions before we just take care of the paperwork, get you started?
No, that's it.
Perfect.
Oh, you.
That is a presentation.
I guess
12
you-
minutes,
You keep nodding, yes, I'm gonna have to
course.
say yes.
of course. That is it.
Quick
And
question. You said, you send the comparables via
Mhm.
email first?
Correct. And then I will have an iPad with me.
Send them.
Now,
But
for time's sake, like my iPad's over there, but if they keep beating me up on the number, I'm gonna show them how many properties are gonna be their competition when we go to market. Usually it's like 5 or 6.
What about when you don't find comparables? Let's say West New York, Union City, most of the houses are multi-family homes. And you is.
Well, I live
one-family
there.
home.
I live in UC, so
Right.
those are that's easy to comp.
No, but one family home?
One fams are tougher. Yes, you're right,
Right.
100%.
Yeah, so what would you do in that scenario?
It depends. So if they want to start at a really, really high number that I know ain't gonna sell, I'll probably comp like like maybe I'll go to West New York or I'll go to Jersey City Heights, like 2 towns next to it, and comp 2 homes there and bring that. But I usually will go back to their motivation. Mr. Seller, it sounds like you really want to start out very high, and we can definitely do that. It's definitely an option. My question to you would be is, what would happen say in 30 days, we don't have the number of showings, and you wanting to be in Miami by the end of the summer now gets pushed to maybe Halloween, Thanksgiving? Is that an option for you? Usually it's no, or, well, it might change some things around. Yeah, well, to just avoid that and to ensure 2 things. Number 1, that you're gonna get the most amount they're willing to pay. But number 2, ensuring you're gonna get to your destination, their motivation, in the time that you want. Strategy number 2 is really gonna be the one that will get you there. But again, if you wanna go with that first one, I'm gonna support you 100%. Usually they will take the second. When I present price this way, 9 out of 10 of them are they take the second. 9 out of 10.
You're okay with taking the listing, basically $25,000 above the benchmark?
It'll sell. It'll totally sell.
Especially now.
Yeah, especially, it'll sell. And even in a market when it's not, as long as you future pace them
Right.
for the pricing adjustment, which I did, I usually don't do it in the but I wanted to say it to you guys to hear it. I usually don't do it in the presentation. I'll get the signature first, then I will go over, hey, because Mr. and Mrs. Seller, when we get this on the market tomorrow or, Friday, after we photograph it, one of 3 things is gonna happen when we list. We're either gonna get a lot of showings and a lot of offers, tells us we were at or a little bit below market, which is great because you're gonna trade above. Second thing you're gonna get is a decent number of showings and maybe an offer or 2. We were right at where we needed to be. Or third thing, very little showings, no offers. That tells us we were too high. The market said to us, you were too high. Always use the market. Do not own price. Do not own it. Because when it doesn't work, who are they gonna point their finger at?
So how do you explain how you differentiate your services as opposed to another agent?
What do you mean?
What I mean is, because we all gonna put it on the MLS and we're gonna get the agents, but what makes you better representing the seller as opposed to another agent?
Yeah,
What's the extra qualities that you bring?
that's a great question, Mr. and Mrs. So I'm imagining that underneath that, you really just want to make sure that who you're hiring is working on your behalf 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to get this property sold for you. Is that right? Yes, exactly. And then you go into what you do. I prospect 2 to 3 hours a day.
I'm on the phones looking for buyers. I'm going into the marketplace, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. I'm not just sitting back waiting for buyers to come to me. I actually go into the market to find them. And I do that for 2 to 3 hours every day, Monday through Friday. I'm imagining this will be very important to you in the agent that you hire, right? Yes. Awesome. Any other questions before we take care of it?
Did you bring them the commission rate or did you wait until the client does?
So commissions, like,
Crazy.
it's easy because when you're tight like that on your presentation, it's tight, commission doesn't come up. You'll get 6 every time, Most of my, Jess will tell you, most of my commissions were
So
6.
legally, you don't have to tell them.
It's not that I have to tell them, like when we do the paperwork, I'll go over it with them.
They're signing
I just write it and they sign it. Yeah,
You just basically solidify that she doesn't want to work with you.
100%.
At that point, nothing else matters.
Yeah, let's go over the paperwork. When I say any other questions before we go over the paperwork, then they're like, no, awesome. And I bring out the paperwork and we go over it together. Here's a list price. And then I'll say, so share with me what list price you would feel comfortable coming into the market at, which Andrew did, 650. I want a little bit higher. Okay. Perfect. And then in that exclusive right to sell, you write the commission at 6%. I almost never get an objection.
Well, they can tell you, well, we spoke with somebody else and they told me they're willing to do 5%.
Okay. Awesome. So once we can come to an agreement on that professional fee, or is there any other reason we just can't get started today?
No, the professional fee is important.
Okay. So tell me, what were you thinking?
5%.
5%? Can I share with you what would be concerning for you and your family's bottom line if we took that approach? Great. Now, so Dory, we know that when we go to market, we have these 3 properties here. And then when I turn this iPad around, we have another 2 that are going to be our competition when we go to market. So we have 5 properties we're going to be competing with, right? Yeah. And we know that those other properties are offering out that standard professional fee. Now, were you also aware, Dory, that those buyer agents that have buyers, they're all paid on what they sell. They don't get a salary. Did you know that?
I think so.
Yeah, so most agents get paid on commission, right? So we know that buyer agents get paid on what they sell. We also know that we're going to be competing with 5 properties. And those properties are offering out that standard professional fee. Now we come to the market, $25,000 above the highest sale, discounting the commission 1 even 2 percentage points. Which one of those properties do you think those buyer agents are going to be more excited to show their buyers? The ones at that standard fee, or now ours, priced higher and now offering out a discounted commission?
Yeah.
Yeah. And why is that?
That's because they want to get more money.
Because they want to get, and the interesting thing, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is when the agents make more money, you make more money because the sale price is higher, right? Exactly. So let's do what's best for you and your family's bottom line and offer out that standard professional fee, ensuring 2 things. Number 1, you will get the most amount those buyers are willing to pay. Number 2, getting you to Miami in the time you want.
So what do you pay out on the 6%?
2.5. I have all the risk.
What about,
And I have all the cost.
what about if they tell you, okay, I'm willing to give you 4%, because right now inventory is very low, and can you do a 4%?
Oh, so you're basically saying, am I gonna lower my fee, like on the listing side? Okay. And I'm sorry, what's your name, sir?
Eric.
Eric?
Yes.
Eric. So Eric, great question. And so it sounds like we're actually in agreement that, offering out that professional fee to the other agents is gonna ensure you're gonna get 100% of those buyers into your property, making offers and things of that nature. Now you're just asking me to take less on my fee, is that right?
Right.
Okay, and I appreciate that. And what's interesting is, no matter how many agents that you engage with, one of the skills you're gonna be hiring us for is our skill of negotiating. Because we're gonna be having, conversations about the price of your home without you present. Have you thought about that? No. Yeah, and so let me ask you, you had mentioned that the other agent had offered to do it at a lower commission. How long were they in your home before they actually offered to do that?
How long?
Yeah. Was it like right off the bat, when you said lower, they said yes?
Yeah, they said yes right away.
Right away, okay, so within 5 minutes, they said they lower their commission. Okay, And what's interesting about that, Eric, is 1% of 100, it's only 1%, not that much. But 1% of 3%, that's 33%. That's a third. Let me ask you, would you discount the price of your home 33% just to sell it? No, of course not. So let me ask you.
Know about numbers.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about numbers. So let me ask you, why would you even think to engage with another agent or broker whose main mechanism of getting business is just discounting their fee right in front of you when you ask? I mean, what are they gonna do to your sale price when an offer comes in and it's not a list? I mean, what's that?
Oh.
Yeah, it's recorded. Now, Eric, I might be tough on protecting the value of my own fee. But you can be equally short. I'm gonna be equally as tough, fighting tooth and nail for every dollar of equity you've earned in your home over the last 10 years you've owned it. Because I'm gonna imagine that's gonna be very important for you in the agent that you choose next. Is that right?
Yes.
Absolutely. The good news is you're speaking to him right now. You're talking to somebody who is a master negotiator, knows what it takes to get it done and get offers increased when they're not coming in at list price. Because that's important to you, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Any other question before we just take care of the paperwork and get started?
Bring me the.
Sign here.
Guys, this is what I do every day. Every day.
So now a question about overpricing.
Okay.
You took an overpriced listing, you talked to them about those 3 weeks, because I had that happen to me.
Okay.
3 weeks later, same thing, no activity, no offers. They're like, no, we don't really, like, we don't want to lower it, we want to still keep it at that price.
Why are they selling it?
That was the conversation. Yeah, there was no motivation. And I actually learned that talking to Andrea. She was like, what was their motivation?
Yes.
It's rented, and she doesn't need to sell.
So it wasn't,
that's
so
the
it
problem.
was an
That's the
option.
number.
Yeah, it was an option for them to rent it and not sell, but still make the move. Yeah,
Yeah, going back.
So-
I answered my
That
own
should
question.
have done that pre-qual that you have.
exactly. So
Then
that's
I
all in
went
the,
back.
again, it's okay. It's all in the prequel.
No.
It's all in the prequel.
So usually you will get an okay, yeah, let's lower the price 3 weeks later.
100%. You run through your price reduction script and you lower the price. Yep.
Even if it's not today, I would love to go through the call.
I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah, let's do, I mean, questions with what I went over, and if there's time, maybe we can do the prequel.
Q&As.
Yeah, come on.
Nobody sees my hand raised. I'm trying to be polite.
Oh, because Amanda's over there. I'm
for
so
Q&A.
computer illiterate.
Amanda.
Who's that? Rachel, what's going on, Rachel?
Hi. So one technique that I try to use when people are like grossly overpricing, and especially in this market where everyone thinks they're going to get $1 million for everything, is I try to get them to commit to a price improvement. And I say price improvement to try to make it sound nice. You know, within, I either say, hey, look, after much back and forth, I'm willing to consider going on the market at this number. However, I'd like you to commit to a price improvement if we do not have any offers or really any showings or low traffic within the first 2 weeks or within the first 30 days. I do use the rule of 30-30. So if we don't, you know, if we get 30 showings or it's been 30 days and we don't have an offer, like, are you willing to commit to a price improvement? Do you feel that there is a better time to have that conversation? I don't normally have that conversation and make them sign off on a price adjustment form or anything right out of the gate, but I will plant the seed up front if I hear them kind of getting crazy with their number.
Good question. Actually, a great question, because this goes into your communication with them. I talk to them every Friday. Okay. So when I go for the adjustment, they know their home ain't selling. I don't take the listing and then 20 days later or 30 days later, I call them and tell them what's going on. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, it's Friday, this is Feedback Friday. Just want to let you know we had one showing and yeah, write that down. You guys want to do Feedback Fridays? I do Feedback Fridays. Yes. So we've had one showing or we've had no showings. And the feedback that I'm getting from the agents is that the price seems to be a little aggressive. You have one of three options, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, whatever one you decide to do, I will support you 100%. You can either leave the price as is, see if we can get a buyer based on what we're, our marketing. We can pull it off the market and not sell it, which I know we've spoken about that, doesn't seem to be an option. Or number three, is we can take a price adjustment and bring it more in line with what's traded. Anything that either one of these that you decide to do, I'm gonna support you 100%. What do you think is gonna serve you and your family best? And let them tell you. I don't ever tell them like what I want from them. That's just me, doesn't work for me. I let them self-discover through the logic that I'm giving them.
Serve you and what will serve you and your family best.
Yeah, which one of these is gonna serve you and your family best?
Like, oh, so you want me to continue showing it at this astronomical price that will not sell? Sure, I'll be here Saturday, like that kind of a vibe, okay.
Well, I will say this, Rachel, it's a great question. It's how much higher, like if the last comp is like this one, 625, and she says, Dan, I wanna list it at 725. I'm not taking that.
Right. No, look, I will say through this role play, I really respect your composure. I had a guy the other day, and it's a listing I walked away from at this point, but
Yeah.
we had a deal under contract. Even at the last minute, he wanted to shake the guy down for more money. I got the guy to come up about $25,000.
Yeah.
And he's like, just relist it until we could sort this deal out. And now he wanted me to relist it at $100,000 more. So I said, look, why don't we just list it for $1 million at this point? And I mean, I really respect your composure because I'm working on mine these days. So thanks.
Yeah. It is, you're welcome, no problem. Pleasure to serve you. And yes, pricing is, you always get that. And I just go right back to why they're selling. You just go back to their motivation, Look, is it an option for you not to move to Miami by the end of the summer? There's a high probability that, because we see here, when you go over, you can go over the ones that are on the market. Here you have, we see 699 here and we see it on the market for almost 2 months. So would it be a safe assumption that the buyers are telling the seller that the price is too high? Yeah, okay. And I know you want to list it and you wanted to get 700,000. I mean, we can do it. We can, hope, wish, and pray that a buyer is going to buy yours over these, but it wouldn't make it the obvious choice to sell based on the market. Does that make sense? Yeah, we want yours to be the obvious choice to sell. And I use those words, obvious choice. You want them to be the obvious choice to sell. So, but yeah, I mean, look, Rachel, these are going to start to come up more and more and more as the market starts changing. It's already changing now. These bidding wars out in the you're not getting 15 offers anymore. You may get 5. And then that'll dissipate down to like 1 or none. Give it time. Give it time.
What do you say to the sellers that are like, oh, I want to wait a couple months, and you try to tell them about the interest rate, like how do you?
Well, why do they want to sell it though? And they say they want to wait a couple months, but why are they looking to put on the market? What's the reason? If someone has a life event, they're not waiting. If they lost their job, if they need to get a bigger house because of their kids, and now we're in May. You're talking now if they're going to move to a new school district. Yeah, you're talking new schools. They got to get into that new area by what? August, the absolute latest? Absolute latest. So there's motivation there. So upsizing, different schools, loss of job. Somebody unfortunately may have passed away. It's a hard conversation, but look, somebody's going to list the house. Might as well be you. It's just in how you make the conversation with them. Yes, these are all life events. They have to do it. Somebody that is like, yeah, I just want to test the market out and see if I can get this because I was thinking about selling it. Well, was it an option for you not to sell this property and still make the move? Well, yeah, we can rent it out. Okay, tell me about that. Well, we've rented out homes before. Okay. Not somebody I want to work with. Divorce, perfect. Yeah. I mean, shit, somebody's got to sell it. Yeah.
Wait, I have a great divorce moment. I'm doing a divorce right now. And the husband called me out of referral. I just want to share this really quick with people. He did not tell the woman that he is divorcing that he had realtors coming by. Is Leo still here? Leo is my savior. Leo is my savior. I called him. I'm like, Leo, look, I got this lead. It sounds like they're going through a divorce. It sounds like maybe he cheated. There's a little nasty situation going on. I don't think that it's a great idea that I show up alone.
Oh, no way.
I'm gonna walk the property to give them comps. And for anyone who's never done a divorce, it's a bigger process than the average listing appointment. Typically, the divorce attorney needs to approve the agent that's selected. So Leo, who is just my rock, was like, look, I'm gonna be there. Leo has 3 little toddlers. He did not need to show up for that, but he did, it turned out. Because as we were just about to exit the property after walking it, guess who walked in the front door and did not know we were there? And she was very, very upset.
Wow.
Luckily, as I was standing as the meat in this divorce sandwich, and she was going, you just didn't tell me they were coming, and who are these people, and you could get out of my house. And I looked at Leo and I was like, oh man, Leo. And I said, hey guys, hold on. I don't want you to hit me. So I'm here to deliver information. I am a neutral party. Mr. Perez called me to come by, and I was unaware that you were unaware. So here's my business card. This is my email address. Please email me so I can share the comps with you both. You know, I understand that these situations can be difficult, and that is why I'm here to provide the best information about the market. You guys can handle the sticky stuff. And then luckily they were Puerto Rican, and I was like, and Mr. Perez, before you get a cocotazo, I'm gonna get out of here. And she started laughing. And once she started laughing, Leo was like, Rachel, you did it. Like, you got out of there, and you may have turned her around. So now I look more neutral, and I don't look like the woman that he hired to come in here and give him, tell me some terrible price on my house. And I also think the balance of Leo being there and being a male presented a little better also, because I don't think it would have went over so well had it just been me, especially given the circumstances of that divorce.
Sure. That's awesome. And the whole thing that struck me with that story is she made the joke that it's like letting the steam out. It's like this big bubble, and then it just like lets it all go out. It's like, just by making a joke. Just by making a joke. Just be yourselves when you're out there. Like, it's not just, when you have this stuff down, you can just be yourself. I've hugged people. I sat there one day, this lady was, I can tell they did not want to sell, and there was something going on with her husband. And you could just tell, and he was very standoffish, and she was the one, doing the dialogue. And I just, we got up, we ended up listing, and actually, you know what, I'm not gonna get up. I'll give this one. This is a better one. Two males. They live in Port Liberté. Interviewed 5 agents, and I was the 5th. And the minute I walk in, they were like, just so you know, we're not signing anything with anyone. And I already pre-qualified them, and they were open to it. And when I walk in, John, the one guy, is like, we're not signing anything. And I'm like, no problem, John. I'm like, I'm just here to provide you some information. You'll make the best decision you can. I'm going to imagine living in this home, and it was a penthouse in Port Liberté. You guys have made some really good decisions. You'll make a really good one now. And he was like, okay. And I presented to them, and they had a house. So they're buying a house in Vegas, which they live now. That was falling through. A house in Florida that had a roof fall through. And it was weighing on Fausto's mind to where I can see he was almost in tears talking to me about it. And I got done presenting, and they're like, we're not signing, no problem. But I'm like, hey guys, listen, no problem. Look, take the day, here's the paperwork. I tried to close them 7 times and they just wouldn't do it. So I'm like, here's the paperwork. I'm gonna call you tomorrow. You tell me what you think is best for you. And I said, go with what's in here. Don't worry about what's in here and what everybody else has said. Your gut's never gonna tell you wrong. And I can see the tear in Fausto's eye because he was so angry about and frustrated with what's going on. And I got up and I was like, Fausto. I looked around, I was like, you haven't really said much today. I was like, you mind if I just give you a hug? You look like you need one. And he's like, yes. And I gave him a hug, and John looked at him and was like, let's go on the terrace. They went on the terrace, they walked back, and they were like, we're gonna sign with you. You're our guy. Just being you.
Yeah.
And Rachel got it just by being her. That's it. That's all listing is, man. Just be yourself. But you gotta be scripted to know what to say to get to that point.
stuff.
So you're not
That's
thinking
it.
of what to say.
You're not, exactly. Say it again.
So
'Cause
you're not
why?
thinking of what to say, you're listening to them.
You're not thinking of what you're gonna say next, because they know what you're gonna say next.
Yeah.
When you watch actors on TV, you don't look at them and be like, they're waiting to say their line. They wanna say their line. They have it in there already.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I
The
mean?
bad actors.
Yes, they already know it. So this is the same thing. You already have it in here, so now you can be yourself. And you guys are all amiable people, like you know how to handle human beings. You're just asking them, you're showing them the way to list with you because you're the best at it. They just don't know it yet.
Yeah.
And you're there to show them that you're the best.
That's the
That's it.
reason why they called you in.
Right.
Yeah.
Got that far, yeah.
They have a need. You're just giving them, providing them the need. Just happens to be a very lucrative need if you're really good at it. It's very lucrative. That's it, man. So hey, congrats to you, Rachel. That's awesome. Love hearing the story. So that was it, guys. I mean, that's literally my presentation in like 12 minutes, 13 minutes. It's not long. I pre-qualified them. They are ready. They have the information that they need, and that's it. So
That's
anything
so
longer than that, you're usually probably gonna be talking too much.
That's
Go
so
talk
different,
yourself
because usually you do like, here's my marketing, this is how I'm gonna do it. You didn't do any of that.
No.
You send it
You
off.
said that prior, right?
Send off the
Yeah.
email.
Yeah, I do a pre-list package prior. They get that with the comparables.
That's good.
Yes, and it's 4 pages. So my pre-list is what I've done, references, I highly recommend references.
Yeah.
What I do in a day, my, no, not reviews, I send them to my website for reviews. Or to the, just Google me, I tell them to Google me. Start to get your Google, this is important. Get your business profile up and running on Google, if you don't have it already. Get it up, because if they don't know you and you're prospecting them, they are going to Google you. They're not gonna read anything until they check you out.
You have reviews going to your website as well,
Yeah, it feeds to my website.
the Google ones?
Correct.
So Zillow.
Yeah, it's very easy. You basically send a link to the clients and they can review it right away.
Yeah, well, I use a service called Bird Eye, and what Bird Eye does is Bird Eye wraps everything into like
Bird Eye?
one. Yeah, Bird Eye, BIRDEYE.
Cause I've been sending two links to every single client,
Okay.
so they can do my website
Yeah.
and on Google.
You can
And I
do
always
that.
forget to one, and unfortunately, it's always Google, they forget to go.
Yeah, so if they Google you, if you Google me, you'll see a Bird Eye link that'll have my link, my reviews too, but on the business profile, you'll see the Google reviews as well. But Bird Eye has all of them. It's like, I don't know, it's 60 or 70, I don't know.
So if you use Burn Eye, they only have to do one review and will go to two separate websites?
It should. I'm so bad at this. That's like, I should know it, but I don't. I look at that as like income servicing. Catherine, you handle that. Just make sure I'm getting reviews every time we close. She sends a thing out, hey, we want to make sure that, you're happy with Daniel and blah, 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 blah. They'll send the review back. And then it just hits to that. Yeah. So it's important. And Bird has a good one for that. So.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good.
Right on time.
3 o'clock? Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
So, yeah, if anybody is interested in that, the website is right over there, but that's basically what it is in a nutshell.